They say that being a hero means sacrificing everything. It's worth it if it saves people's lives. And for some, being a hero is a way of life. But what happens when a hero disappears? The person was shocked to see that it contained over 5,000 classified files from the Australian government. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay up to date on our latest stories. This case had many twists and turns, but the most surprising one was yet to come. Together, they decided to publish only parts of the story, not revealing the identity of the whistleblower. But before they could do so, Witness K leaked more than 5,000 files to the media. In an interview with the ABC, the journalist admitted that the information he published was just the tip of the iceberg. There were much bigger things going on behind the scenes. It was widely believed that they were looking for Witness K, but they never found him. Did the police arrest him? Is he living and hiding somewhere? Or did he ever leave Australia? It's impossible to say. What we do know is that he changed the course of history and exposed the corruption that was hidden behind closed doors. The only person who came close to finding Witness K was the journalist who first received the encrypted email containing the Dropbox link. They offered Witness K immunity from prosecution in exchange for his identity, but he refused. They had arrested Witness K and charged him with leaking classified information. Unfortunately, we may never know the answers to these questions. Comment below whether you think Witness K was a hero or a villain, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on our latest episodes. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. But what we do know is that Witness K was a true hero who risked everything to expose the truth. He may have disappeared, but his legacy will live on forever. The journalist was shocked. He had been set up and he knew it. Someone had tipped off the police about his meeting with Witness K, but who? He thought back to the meeting and realized that Witness K was the only one who was paranoid. He had been acting strangely as well. He had kept his face covered during the entire meeting and had even worn gloves. The journalist took off his jacket and put it on the table. To his horror, he saw a small hole in the lining. Someone had been following him and had probably planted a bug in his jacket. The journalist had fallen for it and had unknowingly recorded the entire meeting. The police used the recording to build their case against Witness K, and soon he was convicted and sentenced to 4 years in prison. The journalist was devastated. He had put his career and reputation on the line to help Witness K, but in the end, he had been betrayed. He still believes that Witness K is innocent, and that he was framed by someone who wanted to cover up the truth. He believed that Witness K deserved to be identified as a hero, not a villain. But every lead seemed to end in a dead end. The journalist flew to Perth and met Witness K in a safe house. He had taken all the necessary precautions to ensure that the meeting would go smoothly. He had erased all the data from his phone and computer and even disconnected his internet. But as soon as he sat down with Witness K, he knew that he had made a mistake. Witness K was very paranoid and kept looking around the room as if expecting someone to jump out at him. The journalist tried to put him at ease, but it didn't work. Witness K was too afraid to talk. He kept saying that he could untell him anything and that it would be better if they just ended the meeting. The journalist was disappointed, but he understood that Witness K was under a lot of stress. So he called off the meeting and let him go. The journalist had almost given up hope of ever finding Witness K, when he got a call from someone who claimed to know his whereabouts. The journalist traveled to the remote town of Leonora in Western Australia and knocked on the door of a small cottage. When the door opened, he saw the man he had been looking for all these years. It was Witness K, but he didn't look like the hero the journalist had imagined. He was frail and looked like he had lost a lot of weight. But when he smiled, the journalist knew that he was in the presence of a true hero. They also offered him a large sum of money, but he turned it down. The government was desperate, so they asked the Australian Federal Police to hack into the journalist's computer and find Witness K's IP address. When the police got the IP address, they traced it back to a hotel room where Witness K had stayed for a few days. But by the time the police arrived at the hotel, he had already checked out. They never saw him again. He received another email from Witness K asking him to keep his identity a secret at all costs. If anyone found out who he was, then he would be putting himself and his family in danger. The journalist promised to keep his secret safe and true to his word. He never revealed Witness K's identity to the public. However, he did something else that may have put Witness K in danger. He gave the journalist's phone number to the Australian Federal Police. He did this without telling him, believing that it was the right thing to do. But in reality, he had just betrayed the man who risked everything to expose the truth. All the evidence pointed to one conclusion. SO was spying on everyone, including politicians, journalists, and civilians. They didn't do this out of fear that he could get into trouble. Some believed he was a government agent who was trying to expose the corruption within SIO. No one knew where he went or why he stopped leaking information. Some believed that he was arrested by the government, while others thought that he was hiding in fear of retaliation. The truth was that no one knew anything about Witness K. He had vanished without a trace. Others thought that he was a member of the Australian Workers' Union, who wanted revenge on those who spied on their members. Whatever his motives, Witness K had done something that no one else had ever done before. He had exposed the darkest secrets of SIO and brought them to the public. Rather, they wanted to protect the integrity of the investigation. In their article, the journalists revealed how ASIO spied on trade union officials and politicians. Their main target was the National Secretary of the Australian Workers' Union, Paul House. ASIO suspected that Paul was leaking cabinet information to the media, so they used illegal tactics to gather evidence against him. They broke into his house and planted listening devices, but they couldn't find anything that linked him to the leaks. Paul House sued the government for violating his privacy, but the government argued that it was necessary because Paul was a suspected spy. However, when the case went to trial, it was revealed that ASIO had spied on Paul Howe's family as well, which made the operation completely illegal. He goes by the name of Witness K. His email had a subject line that said, "Urgent, need your assistance," and as soon as the journalist opened the message, he saw a Dropbox link. Curiosity got the better of him, and he clicked it. The journalist was shocked to see that there were over 5,000 files in the folder. As he scrolled through them, he realized they were all confidential government documents. Some of the files contained sensitive information about ongoing criminal investigations, while others discussed confidential briefings given to the Prime Minister of Australia, Julia Gillard. Many of these files also revealed illegal activities carried out by the Australian Security Intelligence Organisation, or ASIO. One of the documents even revealed how ASIO spied on the journalists themselves. The whistleblower behind all this had vanished without a trace. What happened to him? Was he even real? Let's find out in today's episode of Fake or Fact. In 2013, an Australian citizen received an email from an anonymous source with a link to a Dropbox account. If you want to support us, please consider supporting us through the link in the description below. On January 9, 2013, an Australian journalist received an encrypted email from someone claiming to be a high-level government official. The journalist immediately contacted his editor and told him about the documents he just received. After this revelation, the government tried to cover up the scandal by destroying the evidence. For months after the leak, no one knew the identity of Witness K. But then something strange happened. Witness K disappeared. In August 2013, the Australian Federal Police raided several properties in Canberra and seized electronic devices in relation to the leak of classified information. To this day, no one knows what happened to Witness K when the scandal broke out. The government tried to do everything they could to stop the damage. The government wasn't the only one looking for Witness K. The journalist also wanted to find him. Witness K agreed to meet with the journalist and tell his story. The next day, the journalist got a call from the police. So, the question remains, what happened to Witness K? Did he ever get out of prison? And if so, is he still in hiding? Now it's time for you to make your voice heard.